We as human beings try to change our behavior according to the situation. You observe people. That's quite common. Why? Because observation is the mindset that we carry every time. But you are a kind of personality who abides by the law. So you just go ahead and you start talking about agreeableness. Next time when you fail, don't take it as a failure. Rather look at it as a stepping stone to success, because that builds up your self-esteem. Good morning and welcome to the third session in Unit 1, third semester B.Ba Organizational Behavior, where we are going to speak about personality traits. So the word itself, personality, is what everybody looks in today. Why? Because personality matters a lot, not just for you, but for the organization also. So as we go into the personality, we need to decipher two important words that we are going to learn today. One starts with the word called as the person, and next, the environment. So the combination of both is where you're going to learn about behavior. At the end of the day, behavior is a functionality of person and environment. So this word complex that we use here is called as behavior. So we're going to see what are the attributes, what are the functionality that really constitutes the personality in you. So without much ado, let me just get into the subject of making you understand person and environment. The person consists of skills and ability, personality, and also the factor that he is also in terms of attitudes, values, and ethics. So when we are going to talk about this functionality here, the person is a combination of all these features as we are talking about. He has skills, he has the ability, he has the personality to talk, he has a perception, he has attitudes, he has values, also the ethics. Followed by which we are also going to talk about environment. Environment is a combination of the organization that you're looking into, the work group where you belong to, and then you're also going to talk about your job and personal life. So when you combine these two factors, you see a whole lot of variables that are going to come inside that's going to determine your personality. So moving further, let's first try to understand what is this word behavior got to do with your personality. The first thing, behavior is a function of continuous multidirectional interaction between person and situation. For all of us, behavior is something that is not predictable at all. Why? Because we as human beings try to change our behavior according to the situation. Today, my mind and my mood set is good, so I might behave in a particular fashion. Tomorrow, my mindset changes. Tomorrow, something else happens. Automatically, what happens is that my behavior, my personality will keep on changing as per the need of the hour. So that's why it's a constant interaction. It's not going to be a static. It's a dynamic world altogether. Followed by which the person active in process. Changed by situation, definitely, as I was telling you, that my situation keeps changing. What I am in a classroom might not be the same thing when I'm in a mall, when I'm in a park, or when I'm with my family. So situation makes me change. Point number two, I'm going to move into a position where I'm changed by the situation and I change the situation also. So as per the need of the organization, an employee will definitely go ahead and change his behavior. So that's why you might have two situational interpretation, the objective based situation that's coming into picture. So a person is subjected to various situations that you start seeing here. Now let's take an example here. Now the manager in an organization calls up an employee and all of a sudden he starts shouting at him because he has not been able to reach the deadlines. He has not been able to complete the task within the given target or the deadline that has been mentioned. Now the employee mindset, his behavior will definitely change towards the manager, towards the work environment. On the same way, when we start looking into the environment here, if the employee is going to look into the manager from a motivational perspective, suppose he is going to take the words in the right spirit, change his attitude and start working with double the speed, that means the entire situation again changes. So what is very important here is that how are you going to interpret the situation without changing the subject? Now, the subject remains common. We all know that we are all subjected to mood, but how you interpret the mood, change the situation is all up to you. Followed by which we are going to talk about the definition of personality. Why is definition of personality so important? Is it something that actually defines you, or is it something that you're being defined for? So let us go into it. Personality is a relatively stable set of characteristics that influences an individual behavior. I want you to mark upon these words very carefully, and that word is called stable set of characteristics, which means something which is already inbuilt. You're not going to change much. Now, when people say that you can change personalities, the answer is not really true. Why? Because you have built in a set of qualities, you have built in a set of features which do not change as and when you want. You have been made out of it like that. So rather than changing the entire personality, you can change certain characteristics with a lot of effort and time taken into the factor. But nevertheless, as we come back to the definition, stable set of characteristics. So you have certain features that will influence your behavior wherever you are. You're not going to change. You're not going to talk. You're not going to make things all of a sudden alternate for you. You're going to be the same kind of personality. You're going to exhibit the same kind of traits wherever you're going to walk with. Now, followed by which, I'm also going to talk about the personality theories which are going to come into picture. The first one is called as the trait theory. Trait theory means understand the individuals by breaking down behavior patterns into observable traits. Now, this is big English, big language for us. Let us make it very, very simple for you to understand. What is a trait? Whenever you are in a train, you are in a bus, you are in a mall, you are in a park, or in any of the public places, you observe people. That's quite common. Why? Because observation is the mindset that we carry every time. When you look into people, there are certain traits which you observe. There are certain patterns, there are certain behavioral activities that you look into it. Now, that behavioral pattern might tell you something in the mind. This guy is organized, this guy is unorganized, he looks clean, he looks dirty, he looks the way how he talks, and the way how people project themselves. A whole lot of things can be deciphered by the body language and by the actions that they carry forward. So that's where traits comes into picture. Followed by which we talk about the psychodynamic theory. Now, a big word there, psychodynamic, quite interesting, but let's make it simple for you. Unconsciously, that determines your behavior. Many a time we do things unconsciously. That's not something we are doing it with our action, with our body, mind, and soul in place, but we are doing it because it's already there. It's done involuntarily there because you're not going to check into it. That's quite there. The flow is already there within your body. Followed by the humanistic theory, which is talking about individual growth, thought, and development. So now when you talk about the humanistic, it's all about that motivational spirit that gets into you. You want to do it because you want to improve. You want to show people that, yes, you are developed. Integrative approach. Again, we are going to use big words. Not a mathematic term here, but a very simple, straightforward. It talks about psychological process of an individual. Now, psychology is not just a study of human brain, but it's also a cognitive study which involves sociology, which involves your interaction in terms of mindset, biological studies. Everything comes into picture. So it's an integrated approach, a combined approach as we are talking about. Now, followed by which the big 5 personalities. Are you one among them? Before I start getting into the slide, if the answer is yes, let's see, where do you belong to? Are you the one with an extra vision? What do you mean by an extra vision? Gregarious, assertive, sociable. Yeah, you want to make yourself felt everywhere. Your presence is felt everywhere. The moment you walk into a hall, right, you start talking, people start looking at you. Wow, that kind of person. Are you that? He is the kind of personality that everybody wants to see. You are sociable in nature. Everybody feels good about you. You start walking inside and your presence is felt everywhere, in every nook and corner. Agreeableness, cooperative, warm, agreeable. You're a sort of kind of person who never wants to get into argument. You're not that lawyer kind of personality, but you are a kind of personality who abides by the law. So you just go ahead and you start talking about agreeableness. Right, whatever you said is good. You agree with everybody, so you don't want to create an argumentative atmosphere. Number 3, consciousness, hardworking, organized, dependable. You are that kind of personality who's always dependable in nature. You are a kind of person who remains silent, quiet at the corner of the room. You hard work. You always try to put in things saying that, yes, I will do it. And people always come to you on this factor that, yes, you will complete the task. So you belong to the third category where you are very, very conscious about yourself. Emotional stability, calm, self-confident, cool. This is one of a very big trait I would like to talk about. Emotions cannot be controlled by human beings. We like to express our emotions. If you don't express, then why are we called human beings? But on the other side, if you go beyond a certain factor, then people don't look at you, people don't like you. So that's why emotional stability is mandatory. You need to be calm, you need to be self-confident and cool. Then people say you are an emotionally stable person. The last one, openness to experience. Now, this is very interesting. Why? Because let me bring in a very simple example here. There are many people who want to experience things in life. They don't want to follow things. Now, let's say, for example, bungee jumping, or let's say that I want to do something called as a deep sea diving. Now, these are all adventurous. People don't want to become a bungee jumper or a deep sea diver by profession, but they want to experience the fun, which means you are open to that experience. Many of us don't want to get into that experience out of fear, out of shyness, out of dislike, disinterest, so many factors, but there are many people who are interested, they are curious, they want to do it, they want to tell people that, yes, I have done it. I can take that risk, I can take that challenge, I can adapt to that culture altogether. So they are adventurous, they are challenging, and they want to tell this world, yes, I have another experience to share with you. So that is exactly what we are talking about, the big 5 personalities. Followed by which I'm going to talk about the locus of control, the personality trait here. Internal, I control what happens to me. External, people and circumstances control my fate. 2 different aspects, but very, very interesting when I combine it together. First, let me talk about the internal aspect here. I control what happens within me. Am I trying to speak like some spiritual guru? The answer is no. I'm just trying to get into a psychological aspect here, trying to say that whatever runs inside me, if I'm able to control, whatever kind of emotions that are going through, anger, happiness, sad, joy, whatever is that, if I'm able to control, then the locus of control is very much inside me, within me. Externally, whatever happens, I'm not responsible because people can irritate me. The situation can be irritating. People can talk bad about me, good about me. The external circumstances are different. So whenever we talk about locus, we talk about 2 factors. One that runs inside you, the one that runs around you. So that's where we are talking about this personality trait. Followed by which, let me talk about the self-efficacy. These are certain things which are quite explainable to you, which means to say that your prior experiences, your success, how have you achieved certain tasks, how have you gone about models, what has persuaded you to follow certain goals, what has made you to achieve the task that you have been doing. So this is more self-explainable in the sense that you can do it by yourself. Nobody has to come and tell you how you need to do things. So this is something quite interesting, quite developed and well within yourself. Followed by which, the self-esteem. Now, this is one topic I love to talk about again and again. Why? Because self-esteem is all about being yourself, finding out your worth. Now, this is one thing where I like to talk about how success tends to increase with self-esteem. The more and more you start feeling good about yourself, automatically your brand value increases. Now, you might ask me, can I become a celebrity by that? The answer is partially yes. Why? Because moment your self-esteem starts moving up the ladder, you start feeling that, wow, I'm getting a good feeling, I'm having a good presence, people are looking at me with all awe and inspiration. But if it goes the other way around, what happens? Failure tends to decrease the self-esteem. Failure is one big thing that people never like in their life. Why? Because they feel that moment I start failing in something, that means I'm not good at it. That means I'm not going to be respected in the society. I'm not going to be liked by people. I'm not going to be looked at as an example altogether. Rather, I'm going to be demotivated, demolished. I'm going to be pushed back in the society. So that's exactly why self-esteem matters. So next time when you fail, don't take it as a failure. Rather, look at it as a stepping stone to success, because that builds up your self-esteem. Followed by which I'm going to talk about self-monitoring, which is going to come with high shelf monitors and low shelf monitors. One where I'm going to talk about flexibility. The other one when you talk about from the interaction from the inner side. The other side, when you can start talking about the factors which are very much inbuilt in you, where you show consistency. The other side, when you start looking into a response to work by group norms or supervisory feedbacks altogether. Now, with this, I come to the end of this particular session. I hope and believe that whatever that has been spoken here in terms of theory will be applicable and will be apt in terms of both the examination standpoint as well as from the practical walk of life. In the upcoming sessions, we will be learning more about the factors of organizational behavior. But until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and you have a great day ahead. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.